Where the rest of the original spirits lost themselves in the creation of Mundus, or gave part of their power before fleeing to Aetherius, the Daedric Princes refused to help entirely. Instead, they kept their own planes of oblivion, with their own spheres to affect and govern. Daedric Princes have a reputation for getting involved in mortal affairs, be it with the intention of attaining even greater levels of influence over Nirn, or simply for entertainment. It is in these interactions that the most ambitious heroes have found themselves in the service of Daedra, in return for the most potent of artifacts, some of which are created from their very own essence. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Michael, and today on FudgeMuppet we're going through our top 10 Daedric artifacts in the entire Elder Scrolls universe, based on how sensational and cool we personally think they are. It took over an hour of discussion and debate on one of our episodes of the Elder Scrolls podcast to build the list I will be presenting today. The list includes artifacts made by Daedra directly, and also those claimed by them, even if not of their own design. We also don't include something as being a Daedric artifact just because it's something that comes from a Daedric realm, otherwise a mere Grummite's dagger from the Shivering Isles would be a contender, and that's as ridiculous as the realm it's from. Daedric artifacts also can have different powers depending on the wielder, and we've considered every example in our analysis when making our final list. Coming in at spot number 10, we've got an aesthetic dagger that's as iconic as it is deadly, Mehrunes' Razor. Also known as the Kingslayer, this pointy dagger has a chance to send the souls of those it strikes directly to Dagon, instantly killing them, which is a fate worse than death, especially if you're a valiant Nord aiming to reach the halls of Sovngarde. The Razor was considered so deadly that it was split into 3 parts by a militia group formed after the Oblivion Crisis, known as the Keepers of the Razor. 3 of the highest ranking members, with 1 fragment each, passed them down 8 generations by the time the Dragonborn of Skyrim was asked by Silas to retrieve them. A shattered piece of it, seemingly able to drink light, can be found in the Elder Scrolls Online. I find this to be so significant because it highlights how dangerous the weapon must be, not just in general, but because 8 generations, maybe more, of mere mortals, who were usually tempted and corrupted by the potential of great power, deemed it paramount to resist any temptation and keep the parts separated. Some theories have even suggested that Mankar Cameron used Mehrunes' Razor to make himself Dragonborn and able to wear the Amulet of Kings, which leads to further speculation about the nature of the Razor and its potential to sever cosmic bonds and oaths, maybe even tear the skin of metaphysical barriers. Is it truly possible? We don't know. Bashing its way into position number 9, we have Spellbreaker, a Daedric artifact claimed by the mysterious taskmaster Periite. I find it quite fascinating that a Daedric Prince of natural order and pestilence has chosen to claim what is actually an ancient Dwemer relic, but I can't exactly blame him either. Spellbreaker is just so visually appealing. I'd want to be in control of it too, but Periite's decision to claim it likely goes beyond the visible. Besides its unique appearance, Spellbreaker is a one-of-a-kind shield in function. It protects the user from magical attacks, and in Skyrim it throws up a magic ward in front of the shield when you block. In Daggerfall, the shield appeared to have an almost opal-like multicolored design, and its look changed again in both Oblivion and Morrowind. In both of these cases, they reflected spells back onto the caster, which I really like. Most of all though, I really love the idea that in the lore, Spellbreaker is said to protect the wielder from magic entirely, dispelling magics or even silencing enemy mages about to cast a spell. This really shows how powerful the shield can be, as it implies you don't have to physically block incoming magic. To top it all off, Spellbreaker has a historic origin story, built by the Dwemer for King Rorken, who went to war against Shalador, a Nord wizard from the First Era still known as one of the greatest mages of all time. The black edge of the shadow, the killing word of the spider. Slicing its way into rank 8, we have the infamous Ebony Blade. This is a jet black katana that leeches the life of those it strikes, healing the user and even growing in potency as you betray those around you. It has also been known to fortify the user's skill in wielding it and to prevent foes from casting spells. This artifact of great evil perfectly encapsulates Mephal's fear of murder and lies, and is said to drive those who wield it insane. I love the idea of the Ebony Blade corrupting its users, not just because its power can take you to new heights and see you leave your morals behind, but because Mephala will actually whisper to you through it, warping your mind. The ebony blade has caused people to turn on their friends, even their students, and as we saw in Skyrim, such betrayal nourishes the blade. The ability of this artifact to infatuate the wielder is so strong that long ago a mage used their soul to put a charm on the blade to prevent it from staying in the possession of any one person for too long. Still, even a short time frame of use is risky, and don't think you'll be destroying it either. The Jarl of Whiterun tried destroying it in the Skyforge, but it actually seemed to cool the coals instead. Here at FudgeMuppet, we think spears are some of the coolest weapons in fantasy worlds, and in the real world too, to be honest, and we'd love to see them brought back in Elder Scrolls 6. The Spear of Bitter Mercy makes it to spot number 7 for many reasons, such as its dual functionality, working not just as a spear, but also like a magical staff. The spear can summon storm atronachs to fight alongside you, and even reflect magic back at an attacker. This metallic pronged spear also has a complicated background. It is said to have been created by Mehrunes Dagon, who made multiple spears in fact, before falling in the hands of other Daedric princes who seem to have claimed them, at least temporarily, such as Sheogorath. Hermaeus has actually become the Daedric Prince most associated with the spear, and is even depicted in Reachman mythology as wielding it when he takes on the aspect of Arabeg the Hunter. The spear even has the letter H in Daedric emblazoned upon it for ultimate aesthetic appeal. Finally, the spear also has a cool legend behind it about a Nord hunter, Thane Icehammer. He is said to have unknowingly killed several were creatures while hunting in the First Era. Angered, Hermaeus thrust the Spear of Bitter Mercy into Icehammer's side, where the tip broke off, stayed inside him, and corrupted his mind. Icehammer went on to slaughter an acolyte of Kain in a manic fit and fled to an ancient Nordic burial ruin where he was sealed alive. He would eventually walk its halls as a Draga still powered by the spear tip until he was slain in the Second Era. Unlocking the door to spot number 6 on our list is the Skeleton Key, an artifact which belongs to Nocturnal. Although if you believe what's implied by the Khajiit myths, this artifact once belonged to Azura, before a defeated Nocturnal stole it and fled into the void, escaping Azura's judgment. Now this list isn't ranked by power, but there's no denying the potential power of the Skeleton Key is what makes it so cool. This artifact appears as a key or a lockpick, and is said to be able to open any door, being completely unbreakable. This makes it highly desired by thieves looking to fill their pockets with riches. However, as Carlier explains in Skyrim, the Skeleton Key can unlock so much more than just physical barriers. It is a key to unlocking yourself. All of us possess untapped abilities, the potential to wield great power, securely sealed within our minds. Once you realize the key can access these traits, the potential becomes limitless. This explains how Mercer was so talented. The key could take a novice archer to Legolas-level heights, or turn a studying mage into a grand wizard. It is thought that with the right know-how, the key can open portals to various realms, perhaps those with other powerful items to acquire. Up next, we enter the realm of paradise, kind of, with Daedric Artifact number 5 on this list, the Mysterium xarxes. This is basically used as the cover design for Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, and is one of the most dangerous books to ever make its way to Tamriel. You may think that Mehrunes Dagon is just a big, angry, stomping red dude who wants to ruin your day with the Oblivion Crisis, but it turns out he's somewhat of a talented writer, having scribed this tome in the deserts of rust and wounds. The language used to describe this evil artifact is one of the things that make it so cool. Dagon gave the Mysterium xarxes to none other than Mankar Cameron, which inspired him to write the Mythic Dawn commentaries and start the Mythic Dawn cult. Describing the xarxes, Mankar writes, "Its name is the Mysterium xarxes, Alt Muritada aggregate, forefather to the wife of all enigma. Each word is razor-fed and secret, thinner than cataclysms, tarnished like red drink. It's just so enchanting and esoteric. Using this book to lead his cult, Mankar's actions would lead to the Oblivion Crisis, an event that would ravage not just the physical landscape of Tamriel, but the political one, allowing the Empire to be weakened so greatly that the Dominion could gain more power than ever. Dagon's fears are change and revolution, so in a way, while Martin Septim defeated him, Dagon still won. The xarxes also gives those who know how to use it extreme levels of power. Mankar Cameron used it to create his own realm of paradise known as Gaia Alata, where his cultists went in death. I also love how merely handling this text is dangerous. It is said to have terrible corrupting power, and for these reasons, Martin Septim was incredibly cautious when translating it. Remember how I said Nocturnal may have stolen the skeleton key from Azura? Well, karma must be well and truly alive, because in position number 4 we've got an artifact said to have been stolen from Nocturnal herself by the first guildmaster of the Thieves Guild, introducing the Grey Cowl of Nocturnal. Firstly, there's the curse. It removes the wearer's identity from all records of history. The memory of them in the minds of others will fade away and be forgotten. Even if the owner speaks their name to another person, it will not be heard. In Elder Scrolls for Oblivion, a stolen Elder Scroll was used to rewrite history and remove the curse, but the benefits of the cowl still remained. The cowl splits the wearer into the two identities of them as the individual and the legendary thief, the Grey Fox. You can stand in front of a guard, put the mask on, and they will try to arrest the Grey Fox. Take the mask off and they become confused, like it never happened. It's like playing peekaboo with a child. The cowl will allow you to get away with almost anything. Commit a crime with the mask and just take it off to avoid penalty. Only the Grey Fox will accrue the infamy. And that's if you even get caught, which is unlikely given that the mask grants you incredible stealth and thieving abilities, potentially allowing you to steal other powerful items to enhance yourself further. As a character, the Grey Fox does look a bit funny when I look back at Oblivion, though everyone did then. The bust in Mercer's place in Skyrim looks better, but the coolest thing about the Grey Fox and the mask is the persona itself. This one seemingly immortal super thief figurehead, hated by the Imperial Watch and the nobility, loved by the beggars and thieves. It's also neat to think that it won't consume you like other artifacts we've talked about could, at least not by design. Speaking of which, in position number 3 we've got the Black Books of Hermaeus Mora, the Demon of Knowledge. Unlike the Mysterium xarxes or even the Ogma Infinium, there's a whole collection of black books, each containing forbidden knowledge and access to secret powers. In fact, the combined power of these books even exceeds that of the Infinium. Some of the books appear to have been written in the past, while others seem to be from the future. The Lovecraftian aesthetics with the symbol depicting Hermaeus Mora on the front and the black mist emanating from these thick tomes is super appealing. However, I would not recommend reading such books, as it is very likely that the secrets within will make you lose your sanity. The most powerful of mages have been corrupted by the knowledge within Hermaeus Mora's realm of Apocrypha, and when you open one of these books, his tentacles reach from the pages to take you to this haunted library of endless knowledge. The reader's life force is tethered to Mundus, so dying in Apocrypha will simply banish you from the realm, where you can begin entering it again, but I think this just makes it even more likely that you'll go insane. You're allowed to attempt the gauntlets of each book as many times as you can muster. These books are truly the forbidden fruits of the Elder Scrolls universe and are highly seductive to those aspiring to great feats. The final thing that makes the Black Books rank so highly for us is that unlike other books that just have cool symbols on their pages, there's actual content here we can start to read. We can gain insight into the existential dread this poetically scribed knowledge could lead to, the secrets of the universe, of the uncaring Godhead. Check out our video on the Black Books linked below for a deeper explanation on these dark artifacts. Coming in spot number 2, we've got a gift from the Daedric Prince of Trickery and Bargains, the Mask of Clavicus Vile. This mask is the epitome of a deal with the devil archetype, as it amplifies the personality of the wearer and makes those they interact with highly susceptible to admiring them. It's the perfect artifact for those desperately craving the validation or affections of those around them. Clavicus Vile is known to make tempting deals with mortals who later come to regret it, and nothing illustrates this more than an old tale about the mask. There was once a noble woman, Avelia, who was grossly disfigured by a spiteful servant. Nobody knows what dark deal she made with Clavicus to address her situation, but he gave her his mask, and as a result she gained the admiration and respect of everyone. She married a well-connected baron, becoming pregnant with his child. However, Clavicus Vile is a cruel master, and a year and 1 day after the marriage, he suddenly reclaimed his mask. Avelia was banished from the baron's household, exiled from the man she loved, who would later be killed by their daughter, claiming vengeance. Perhaps the dark deal Avelia made caused her to be worthy of such a tragedy, but the betrayal would be savage nonetheless. The kind of glamour that this artifact is supposed to grant is really cool, especially when you wonder how it mysteriously works, despite the fact that it must stand out like a sore thumb, an oddity amongst a crowd of uncovered, exposed human faces. While some may disagree, we also think this mask is one of the best looking artifacts out there in all its renditions across multiple games. And finally we come to our favorite Daedric artifact, an infamous black sword which captured my soul 14 years ago when I played an Elder Scrolls game for the first time, Umbra. This blade is incredibly lethal, crafted with the purpose of entrapping the souls of those it slays, specifically made by an ancient witch for the Daedric Prince star of this video, Clavicus Vile. This soul-sucking power comes as no surprise, given the weapon almost looks like a long black soul gem. This obsidian aesthetic is one of the things we absolutely love about Umbra, and given how strong it is at consuming the wielder, I can't exactly blame you for thinking it has come into my possession and has seeped into my mind ever since. You see, Daedric artifacts are like a piece of a Daedric Prince, just like their realm is a manifestation of them and created from their power. Clavicus seems to be quite a divided entity, given the interactions we've all shared with Barbas, and Umbra just takes this concept to that next level. Umbra is more or less a sentient sword that overtakes its host, slowly consuming the identity of the wielder until they only identify with it, until they become Umbra. We saw Umbra possess the Orc in Morrowind and the Bosma girl in Oblivion. They both took on the name. In the novel The Infernal City, Umbra takes on a life of its own and actually escapes from the realm of Clavicus Vile, cutting away some of the prince's power for itself. It was even said that Umbra took on the form of a dark being in the shape of a man but with eyes like holes into nothing. Eventually, Umbra brings a floating city powered by souls called Umbriel into Tamriel, which is an insanely cool piece of lore. Overall, the appearance of this sword, the ridiculously consuming nature and power of it, and all of the cool stories it's involved with, just give Umbra a firm hold upon the top spot of this list. If you want to know more about why we picked what we did and what we think of all the other Daedric artifacts, including our individual favorites, be sure to check out our podcast on this topic linked below. Also, let us know in the comments below what your top 10 list would be for all of the Daedric artifacts in the series, ranked purely on coolness. If you want to support the content we love and get your hands on a secret Daedric artifact, the coveted FudgeMuppet mask hoodie, the link can be found in the description. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, watching this video, and leaving a like or comment your rankings. If you're keen to say more, I'd recommend reaching out to us on Twitter. My name is Michael, thanks again for tuning in, and I look forward to nerding out with you again very soon.